I am very excited about this. It's a very interesting situation that's taken place. We had a poll come out yesterday, the Washington Post poll with ABC, and it showed that I had an 11-point lead. That's faster than scheduled. You know, that's faster than scheduled. I mean, that's the good news. The bad news, it drives people crazy. And I don't really know why, because all I want to do is make our country great again. You know, it's like, aren't we all on the same track? Whether you're a liberal, a Democrat, a conservative, a Republican, or all of them, I mean, aren't we like sort of all on the same track? You want to make our country great. I know people that are Democrats that love our country. I know people that are liberals, believe it or not, that love our country. And if I can make phenomenal deals with China, which I will, believe me. The best negotiators in the world, I know everyone. I know the bad ones, the good ones, the overrated ones, the ones you never heard of that are better than all of the ones you read about. I know them all. I wrote The Art of the Deal, right? We need the art of the deal. We don't have the art of it. They never read it in this administration. They're the only people that didn't read it. But if I can bring wealth in so that we can save your Social Security without cuts, all the Republicans are talking about, we're going to cut, we're going to raise the age, we're going to do this, your Medicare, your Medicaid, and your Social Security. But I'm the only one that knows how to do it. And the way you do it is you have to make our country vibrant so that we can afford it. Right now we can't afford it. Our GDP went down in the first quarter. It's like down. China went up to 7%, and they're beside themselves. How come it only went up 7%? And China, 1 year ago, was announced that China now is the #1 in the world. You know that. Economically, from the standpoint that so matters. China, this is unthinkable. We've allowed them, and it's our money. I mean, I love Apple, but where are they made? What do they have, an office here, and all the workers are over there? We got to change it around. We got to incentivize them so we make Apple and all the other things. They got to be made here. And if China isn't treating us fairly, we have all the cards. The administration doesn't know this. If they're taxing and we're not taxing, which they do, by the way, then we have to make sure that they pay a penalty. And they will stop immediately. And if they don't stop, we'll get rich on receiving taxes from them. And we don't even want to bring up the word. So we're going to save your Social Security. We're going to make it strong and solid. Medicare, Medicaid, we're going to stop the waste and the abuse and the fraud that goes on. We're going to make proper deals. People mention the Iran deal as an example. What kind of a deal is this? What kind of a deal? I mean, I've seen one-sided deals before. This is like Sergeant Bergdahl. We get a traitor, a no-good, rotten traitor, like Bergdahl. And they get 5 killers that they most wanted in the whole world who are right now back on the battlefield trying to kill everybody, including us, okay? What kind of a deal is this? Not good, right? I like that. Stand up. Who did that? I like that. You're right, lousy. A lousy deal. But we only make lousy deals. I call Obama the 5-for-1 president. We get Bergdahl, they get 5 guys that they dream of, okay? And that's the problem. So the Iran deal, anytime, anywhere, we want to be able to inspect. They got 24 days and notice provisions and all. By the time it could be months and months and months, by that time it's gone. But you know what irks me? Look, having nuclear, my uncle was a great professor and scientist and engineer, Dr. John Trump at MIT. Good genes, very good genes, okay? Very smart. The Wharton School of Finance, very good, very smart. You know, if you're a conservative Republican, if I were a liberal, if I ran as a liberal Democrat, they would say I'm one of the smartest people anywhere in the world. It's true. But when you're a conservative Republican, they try, do they do a number? That's why I always thought of, went to Wharton, was a good student, went there, did this, built the, I have to give my credentials all the time because we're at a little disadvantage. But you look at the nuclear deal, the thing that really bothers me, it would have been so easy, and it's not as important as these lives are. Nuclear is so powerful, My uncle explained that to me many, many years ago, the power, and that was 35 years ago.
We've been listening to Donald Trump live at his rally in Bluffton, South Carolina. He came out swinging, mocking his critics. He said, "I love Mexico. I love the Mexican people. They love me, and I will win the Hispanic vote." He also criticized Senator Lindsey Graham, calling him a stiff and an idiot. He even criticized Governor Rick Perry, saying he wears his glasses to make him look smarter. We want to bring in our senior political editor, Steve Chaggaris, and Time Magazine reporter Zeke Miller. Steve, let's start with you. What are your thoughts?
Well, it was interesting. I thought the Lindsey Graham stuff was fascinating. He goes to Lindsey Graham's home turf in South Carolina and basically, in retaliation for Lindsey Graham calling him a name on national TV last night and this morning, gives out the guy's phone number, which it turns out apparently is Lindsey Graham's phone number. So that should be fun, I guess, for Senator Graham. I just thought what was interesting was that he just keeps, he's not backing down. He's not going to let this criticism stop him from being Donald Trump. And it'll be interesting to see, if, as long as he continues doing this, whether this will have any kind of impact in terms of polling. He didn't apologize for the McCain stuff. He mentioned that he wants to help veterans, which drew a really loud round of applause, it sounded like. So to me, it just seems like that these audiences, that are coming out, and large audiences coming out for Donald Trump, want to hear him talk straight like he's doing that, like he did today. And it'll be interesting to see if any of the stuff over the last few days really has any kind of impact on polling.
Zeke, I want to get your thoughts. He also took a chunk of time and he devoted it to talking about The Apprentice. Is that keeping the celebrity going and his name recognition? A lot of people, they really liked him from there.
Exactly. I mean, this is a man who, dominated ratings for more than a decade with a show built around him saying to somebody, "You're fired." That's, that sort of gets the whole cult of personality of the persona around Donald Trump, that people, will wait in line for hours to go here. We'll wait, we'll tell a pollster, yes, I kind of like that guy. And you hear it from Democrats too. Sort of the policy proposals that he puts out, sort of, we should tax, the car manufactured overseas and imported here so it can be made cheaper with foreign labor. That gets a lot of people on both sides of the aisle. It taps into this protectionist wing, spirit that's sort of bubbling up within the United States, and that's where his supporters come from. And partly, talking about the deal making and the art of the deal, which he plugged 4 or 5 times, and that's not just to sell more copies of his book, but because a lot of people have read it. It was a very successful book, and that sort of gets at the whole cult of celebrity that he's trying to tap into, and that's essentially the core of his campaign.
All right, and Steve, before we go, what's next now?
So, well, he's going to be going around the country, continuing to do this kind of stuff. We're going to see him in southwestern U.S. later this week, and then he'll be in Iowa on Saturday. So it's going to be a lot more of the Donald Trump show, and we'll just keep an eye on the crowds and keep an eye on the polls and see what happens.
All right, senior political editor Steve Chaggaris and Time Magazine reporter Zeke Miller, thanks so much for breaking it down for us as we've been listening to Donald Trump's rally live in South Carolina.